Welcome back to another Flipside chat. My name is Tish, founder of Flipside Mentorship. If you didn't already know, now you know. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to have an effective conversation and communication with your family and these 6 easy tips. I say the word easy, but it is and it isn't, but we'll get into it. Tip number 1. I think you should choose a right time and a right place before you bring something. The reason I say to choose the right time and the right place, because maybe you are angry at somebody and the wrong time is to go off in, let's say, a party and expose private things in a public manner. Or let's say you are dropping someone off to school and you throw something at them that they don't have time to respond to, and vice versa. Or like someone throws something at you and you don't have the time to have this conversation. It's not that you don't care, it's that you have commitments already in place. So I would say if someone drops a bombshell and if something absolutely cannot wait, and the world cannot pause and you cannot deal with it right and then and there, or vice versa. So I would just, like, hey, that is really important and I want to give you my undivided attention. Or, hey, there's something that's been really bothering me that I want to talk to you about. But I want to make sure that we do it where we don't have all these distractions going on, or we don't have all of these, this and that. So can we go ahead and just say, like, hey, after dinner tonight, let's stay up for a little bit and let's talk about X, Y, and Z. Or, but like set a time, set a place so that everybody knows that you're going to all come together and it's all for the specific reason that you can carve out time for one another. Tip number 2, boundaries. Listen, if you take nothing away from this, take that you need to respect your family and your family needs to respect you back. So you're going to require respect and you are going to get respect, all right? And you're going to do that through these boundaries. Hey, all right, so this might be a hard topic, but what I want us to agree on before we even begin is that we're not going to yell at each other. We're not going to call each other out our names. No one is walking away. We are going to be calm. We're not going to cut each other off. I am going to give you my full attention. I am going to let you speak and hear you out and really try to understand this and that. And in return, you are going to do the same for me. And if that happens and you get into the conversation and maybe somebody starts to, hey, we're not doing that one today. We're not going to yell today. Or, hey, if we need to take a pause, that's fine. But what we're not going to do is disrespect one another, because this is too important for that. All right. So set boundaries. And I promise you, if you make those boundaries stick and you show them respect and you also are commanding respect at the same time, you're going to have a much more effective conversation. Number 3, I would say avoid the blame game. So really try and use I statements. And I know it seems a little hokey, but there's a big difference between like, you always do this, you never listen, you never that, you blah, 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 you. When you do that, see, and this one is when you do that, it puts you in the defense. It makes hot-headed people get like instantly like fight or flight or freeze. And you're not trying to trigger a fight or flight or freeze. You are trying to trigger a conversation where a problem is communicated and then solved, right? So use I statements. When I wake up in the morning and I see shoes scattered everywhere, it really makes me feel like no one cares in the house, because I put in a lot of work. And I know that people see me putting in a lot of work, but there's no care around that. Like, it makes me feel disrespected. It makes me feel unorganized. It makes me feel this way. And so they know what the problem is. The problem is you're feeling disrespected. The problem is you're feeling this, and the problem is feeling that. And the actions that are making you feel this way is this. leaving clothes around or leaving shoes around or whatever, you know. And so it's a little different than saying, you always do that. You throw your stuff everywhere. You have no respect for me. You could care less. Blah, 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 blah. Versus like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I feel when you do this. And someone will come around more likely, okay, there may be some friction, but you are more likely to want to actually help and solve the problem because you have exposed the why than if you were just being blamed for everything. Tip number 4, open and honest. And you have to let them know that it's okay for them to be open and honest with you as well. So no lies told. You want to be very, very direct. I don't like this. It makes me feel this. And I wanted to talk to you about getting a resolution because I, in response, maybe I'm yelling or maybe I'm this or, you know, and I don't want that for us. We are better than that. And we have got to do better than that. And that's why I'm coming to you, my family, to help. What can I do and what can you do that we can solve this solution, you know, what we can solve this problem together. Idea generate. But be honest about your feelings and always bringing it back to solution. Number 5, say try to understand perspectives and validate feelings. You know, okay, I can understand why you would think that, or okay, I can see why my actions would make you feel this way. It's not intended to, it's something that I can work on, but I understand where you're coming from. If a child feels heard, they're going to more likely be ready to hear you out versus, I don't even know why we have these conversations. Like, they don't listen to me anyways, blah, 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 blah. Just come in with the mindset to understand, not to be right, not to prove people wrong, but to really understand, why is this happening? What is causing it? Getting down to the underlying root problems and finding solutions for it. Last and final tip, number 6, active listening. My dad always told me you get 2 ears and 1 mouth because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. And I found that to be really, really good advice. I think that you're never going to get to the root of a problem if you don't listen to someone else's point of view. You're never going to learn if you don't listen. And you want to be a place where your family can talk to you. You want to be a safe space because at the end of the day, if they can't talk to you, who are they talking to? You don't want to be a parent that doesn't know anything about their kids. You don't want to be a wife that doesn't know anything about their husband. You don't want to be a husband that whole family is a complete stranger to them. So actively listen. You don't want to be Charlie Brown's teacher, okay? Charlie Brown's teachers, they were heard, okay? This is what the kids heard. Womp, 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 womp. I hear your voice, but I'm not listening to what you're saying, so I can't even tell you what you're saying because all I hear is womp, 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 womp. That's not what you want. That's not effective, and that's not efficient, and that's not good communication. You want them to actively listen to you. You start by actively listening to them, allow them to express themselves without any judgment, and again, have the mindset of, I'm coming to understand, and we're coming to solve. And I think with that, if you keep all those tips in mind, the next time you have a conversation or a communication of any sorts, it will be a lot more effective than if you didn't do these tips. So, all right, well, let me know which tip was most helpful for you. Did I miss anything? Okay, I is not perfect. What is your tip on effective communication with your family? I wants to know it all down below. Bye.